The dust has settled on the porch of my father's house. I packed the heavy shadows in a trunk of worn-out hide. The road ahead is a vein bleeding into the distance. I am moving toward a city that does not know my name. The iron gates are closing on the fields of my youth. I saw the ghosts of the harvest waving from the fence. But there is a fire burning in the hollow of my chest. The steam from the engine masks the salt on my face. I am trading the quiet hills for a roar of the crowd. A different kind of hunger is pulling at my sleeve. The moon is a cool silver coin tossed in black. We are dancing on the edge of a world we just found. Throw the glasses to the floor and let the liquid run. Forget the soil and the toil under the sun. The night is a beast that we have finally tamed. In this loud celebration when no one is playing, they gather in a room where the rafters are shaking. Faces blurred like charcoal drawings in a heavy rain. A woman with jewels like frozen tears tells a story of a place she once belonged but cannot find anymore. We are all refugees of the daylight seeking a spark. The fiddler is playing a tune that sounds like a fever. I drank until the floor felt like the deck of a ship. The scent of foreign perfume mixes with the smoke. I used to know the direction of the north wind. Now I only know the pulse of this crowded floor. The lantern is swinging high above the levelry. The pale light is carving lines into our weary skin. We are far from the valleys where the silence grows, but closer to the truth that the midnight knows. The moon is a cold silver coin tossed in a black. We are dancing on the edge of a world we just found. Throw the glasses to the floor and yet the liquid run. Forget the soil and the toil under the sun. The night is a beast that we have finally came. In this loud celebration where no one is playing. The moon is a cold silver coin tossed in the black. We are dancing on the edge of a world we just found. Throw the glasses to the floor and let the liquid run.
The floorboards creep beneath my heavy boots as gravity pulls at the tangled roots of a house that stands against the gray while the morning light is tucked away. I strike a match and watch the sulfur bloom to drive the shadows from this narrow room. The copper kettle hums a jagged tune underneath a pale and hollow moon. The windows rattle in their wooden frames as if the ghosts are calling out their names. But burning deep and bright, a small defiance in the belly of the night. Oh, hear the gale come tearing down the pass, to shatter peace against the looking glass. But in this steaming song I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space. The flower dust settles on a counter edge, like winter frost upon a lonely ledge. I'm near the door with knuckles worn and thin, letting all the warmth and quiet in. Outside the trees are bent like broken bows against a sky that only thunder knows. But hear the onions sizzle in the pan, the simple labor of a weary man. The windows rattle in the wooden frames, as if the ghosts are calling out their names. But there is a fire burning deep and bright, a small defiance in the belly of the night. Oh, hear the gale come tearing down the path, to shatter peace against the looking glass. But in that steaming song I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space. Gale come tearing down the path, to shatter peace against the looking glass. But in this theme of song I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space.
The carpet wears a pattern of 1,000 fleeting stays, static on the screen, blurring out the lonely days. I trace the maps of highways etched upon my weary palms, trading away the silence for these restless open arms. Suitcase by the doorway, holding pieces of the past, learning that the shadows are the only things that last. And I am blooming in the transit of a night, a fierce and steady fever, reaching for the light, unfolding in the spaces where the strangers used to sleep, keeping all the promises I swore that I would keep. There is a dignity in knowing where I stand, holding my own future like a diamond in my hand. The mirror in the corner doesn't recognize my face. I've outgrown the limits of this temporary space. Every mile a lesson carved into the cooling bone, building up a kingdom on a path I walk alone. The hum of the vent speaks a language I now know, teaching me the secrets of the places I must go. No longer seeking shelter from the wind that starts to blow. I found a different harvest in the seeds I had to sow. The skyline is a ledger of the victories victories I've won, walking toward the fire of the never setting sun. And I am blooming in the transit of the night, a fierce and steady fever reaching for the light, unfolding in the spaces where the strangers used to sleep, keeping all the promises I swore that I would keep. There is a dignity in knowing where I stand, holding my own future like a diamond in my hand. And I am moving in the transit of the night, a fierce and steady fever reaching for the light, unfolding in the spaces where the strangers used to sleep, keeping all the promises I swore that I would keep. The dust settles heavy on the broken glass. I watch the seasons and the shadows pass. The winter wind bites through a threadbare coat, and every hollow word stays in my throat. I left the gate unlatched and let you drift. Now I am calling through this jagged rift. The silence in the hall is far too loud. I am a ghost lost in a moving crowd. My hands are scarred from climbing out the deep. The promises I failed to ever keep. Our anchors dragging on the riverbed, while all your laughter echoes in my head. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard against the spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up taller above the wreckage in the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, feeling every slow and steady spark. Same learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard against the spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up taller above the wreckage in the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, fueling every slow and steady spark. I see you facing every stranger's eyes beneath the vast and unforgiving skies. Your guilt is like a stone inside my chest, a heavy bird that will not find its rest. I built this tower on a shaky ground and watched it tumble without making a sound. Now I am picking up the scattered stones to build a sanctuary for my bones. My hands are scarred from climbing out the deep. The promises I failed to ever keep. Our anchors dragging on the riverbed, while all your laughter echoes in my head. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to fight without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard against the spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up taller above the wreckage and the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, feeling every slow and steady spark. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard spark. The morning coffee tastes like a confession. We sat across the table for 1,000 years, just tracing lines on palms in quiet session, avoiding all the old familiar fears. Now your gaze is heavier than the summer rain, and every casual word feels like a hidden door. The boundaries that we built are starting to wane. I don't recognize the shape of us anymore. Hold your lungs steady while the gravity shifts. The bridge is burning and the anchor drifts. This heartbeat is a hammer hitting hollow tin, waiting for the landslide to finally begin. It's a fever growing in the space between, the deepest shade of blue I've ever seen. Beyond the handshakes and the easy smiles, we're crossing over the final miles. Closer to my shoulder, the air turned thick as honey in a jar. The room is getting small as we get older, counting down the distance to the nearest star. I've memorized the way you bite your lip, a map of constellations on your skin. I'm losing my footing, losing my grip, wondering if it's a crime or just a win. The clock on the wall has lost its steady beat. The pavement is melting beneath our feet. I can see the spark jumping the wide divide. There is nowhere left for a friend to hide. Hold your lungs steady while the gravity shifts. The bridge is burning and the anchor drips. This heartbeat is a hammer hitting hollow tin, waiting for the landslide to finally begin. It's a fever growing in the space between, the deepest shade of blue I've ever seen. Beyond the handshakes and the easy smiles, we're crossing over the final miles.
Barefoot steps across the cooling sand before the heat begins to claim the land. We chase the retreating pipe for silver shells and knew the language of the distant bells. Our shadows stretch along toward the ancient trees, carrying the brine upon a salty breeze. You were the brother that my spirit chose before the world put on its heavy clothes. We sat upon the weathered wooden dock, counting time by the pulse of the rock. The yellow spoken rhythms, deep and slow, of the foundations laid long ago. They tied our names to the rolling deep, to the promises that a man must keep. Our heritage was written in the spray that washed the dust of the night away. Oh, the dawn is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in the marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. I wear the mantle of the rising sun, the pride of everything that has begun. Walking the line where the earth and water meet, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet. Build our castle where the foam retreats, far from the noise of the city streets. Your laughter was a shield against the dark, igniting in my breast a living spark. We knew the stories of a sailing fleet, how they conquered the bitter and the sweet. The blood within us flows like a steady tide, but nowhere left for a fearful soul to hide. The horizon opens like a golden gate to find the heavy hand of a lonely fate. The morning air is a tonic for the chest, a sacred song that puts a mind to rest. Oh, the dawn is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in the marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. I wear the mantle of the rising sun, the part of everything that has begun. Walking the mind where the earth and autumn known, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet. Oh, the dawn is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in the marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. Oh, there's a mantle of the rising sun, the part of everything that has begun. Walking the line where the earth and water meet, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet.
Lay your heavy thoughts upon the dusty ground, where the city pulse is just a ghost of sound. The iron gates are swinging open to the wild. The sky is wide and gentle as a sleeping child. Unlace the boots that walked 1,000 miles of stone, and claim this quiet acre for your very own. Oh, the petals stretch as far as sight can fly, underneath the velvet ceiling of the sky. Let the fragrance wash the fever from your head, where the crimson and the clover make a bed. In the drifting sea of golden tangled green, every shadow fades away into the scene. Time is just a river slowing to a crawl, between the blowing stalks and the garden wall. The heavy sun is hanging like a ripened fruit. Deep beneath the soil, the spirit takes its root. Forget the ticking clocks and the hollowed shapes. and tiny bells are nodding in the breeze, singing lullabies to the wandering honeybees. No more maps to follow and no hills to climb, just the sweet surrender of a borrowed time. The light is filtered through a million tiny wings, while the ancient earth beneath the pollen sings. Oh, the petals stretch as far as sight can fly, underneath the velvet ceiling of the sky. Let the fragrance wash the fever from your head, where the crimson and the clover make a bed. In the drifting sea of golden tangled green, every shadow fades away into the scene. Oh, the petals stretch as far as sight can fly, underneath the velvet ceiling of the sky. Let the fragrance wash the fever from your head, where the crimson and the clover make a bed. In the drifting sea of gold and tangled green, every shadow fades away into the scene.
The traffic lights flicker on the stone pavement. I traded my wild dreams for a steady test. This gray suit is a heavy skin I wear to blend into the rows of tired faces. My hands are stained with the ink of small surrender, watching the clock devour another afternoon. The calendar marks a day that used to matter, a red circle around a ghost of who we were. Now I am just a shadow in the glass, polishing my armor until it shines like gold. Standing in the middle of a hollow plaza, the wind is the only thing that dares to speak. I hold my head high above the rising tide of a city that forgets its own name. It is a lonely triumph on this anniversary, keeping my spine straight while the world leans in. Ooh, yeah. Concrete canyons swallow the final light. The crowd moves like a river with no destination. I walk against the floor with a silent fire, refusing to let the pavement smooth my edges. There is a bitter beauty in the isolation, a quiet throne built on the things I gave away. The calendar marks a day that used to matter, a red circle around a ghost of who we were. Now I am just a shadow in the glass, polishing my arm until it shines like gold. Standing in the middle of a hollow plaza, whose wind is the only thing that dares to speak. I hold my head high above the rising tide of a city that forgets its own name. Is a lonely triumph on this anniversary, keeping my spine straight while the world leaves.
Heavy dust upon your window pane, hides the gold that lives beneath the rain. I see the spark you buried in the clay, waiting for a hand to clear the way. The road is long and worn by weary feet, but there is grace in every heart you meet. You think your voice is but a lonely sigh, a tiny bird against a changing sky. But when you speak, the mountains start to lean, to catch a glimpse of what your courage means. The frozen ground begins to feel the heat of someone moving on a steady beat. Rise like a flame that knows no bound. Lift every brother from the hardened ground. Your words are anchors in a stormy tide, with nowhere left for shadows to abide. Ignite the lamp inside a hollow chest, and give the tired soul a place to rest. I watched the way you carried someone's load along the jagged edges of the road. No crown of silver shines as bright as this, the simple kindness of a human bliss. You plant a forest where the desert grew, and find the strength to see the vision through. Rise like a flame that knows no bound. Lift every brother from the hardened ground. Your words are anchors in a stormy tide, with nowhere left for shadows to abide. Ignite the lamp inside a hollow chest, and give the tired soul a place to rest. A plastic key card clicks against the frame. 6 lights above the harbor where the fog rolls in slow. The curtains smell of lavender and laundry detergent. We drop our bags and watch the shadows grow. I check the calendar twice before we cross the state line, to make sure the numbers still lined up right. Counting back to that rainy Tuesday in the valley, before the world turned heavy overnight. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lights on the hotel sheets. The city lights are blinking like a broken transmission, while the tide drags the sand from the empty streets. We built this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the biting breeze. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction, high above the rows of the cedar trees. The minibar is humming a low monotone tune, a paper bucket full of melting ice. We don't need a map or a compass to tell us that nothing ever happens at the same price twice. You look at me through the steam of a coffee, with eyes that have seen the seasons depart, and I find a map of a brand new kingdom tucked in the corner of your constant heart. There is a Bible in the drawer and a menu on the desk, but the only word I need is the sound of your breath. take out time for the early risers and keep the do not disturb on a handle tight. There's a vintage wine chilling in the corner to celebrate the way we made it through the fight. The moon is a coin, tossed it to the river, a lucky penny for the years to come. The clock on the wall has stopped its ticking, but our pulse beats loud as a wooden drum. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lines on the hotel sheets. The city lights are blinking like a broken transmission, while the tide drags the sand from the empty streets. We beat this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the birthing truths. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction high above the rows of the cedar trees. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lines on the hotel sheets. The city lights are blinking like a broken transmission, while the tide drags the sand from the empty seats. We beat this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the birthing ghosts. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction high above the rows of the cedar trees.
Bare footsteps across the cooling sand before the heat begins to claim the land. We chase the retreating tide for silver shells and knew the language of the distant bells. Our shadows stretch long toward the ancient trees, carrying the brine upon a salty breeze. You were the brother that my spirit chose before the world put on its heavy coats. We sat upon the weather-wooden dock, counting time by the pulse of the rock. The elders spoke in rhythms deep and slow of the foundations laid long ago. They tied our names to the rolling deep, to the promises that a man must keep. Our heritage was written in the spray that washed the dust of the night away. Oh, the dawn is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in the marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. I wear the mantle of the rising sun, the pride of everything that has begun. Walking the line where the earth to water me, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet. We build our castles where the foam retreats, far from the noise of the city streets. Your laughter was a shield against the dark, igniting in my breast a living spark. We knew the stories of the sailing fleet, how they conquer the bitter and the sweet. The blood within us flows like a steady tide, with nowhere left for a fearful soul to hide. The horizon opens like a golden gate, defying the heavy hand of a lonely fate. The morning air is a tonic for the chest, a sacred song that puts the mind to rest. Oh, the dawn is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in the marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. I wear the mantle of the rising sun, the pride part of everything that has begun. Walking the line where the earth and water meet, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet. Oh, a dove is rising on the eastern shore, and I feel the strength of those who came before. There is a fire burning in my marrow bone, a steady light that calls me back to home. I wear the mantle of the rising sun, a part of everything that had begun. Walking the line where the earth and water meet, with the heart of a lion and the world at my feet.
Plastic key card clicks against the frame. 6 flights above the harbor where the fog grows in slow. The curtains smell of lavender and laundry detergent. We drop our bags and watch the shadows grow. I check the calendar twice before we cross the state line, to make sure the numbers still lined up right. Counting back to that rainy Tuesday in the valley, before the world turned heavy overnight. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lines on the hotel sheets. The city lights are blinking like a broken transmission, while the tide drags the sand from the empty streets. We built this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the biting breeze. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction, high above the rows of the cedar trees. The mini bars humming a low monotone tune, a paper bucket full of melting ice. We don't need a map or a compass to tell us that nothing ever happens at the same price twice. You look at me through the steam of the coffee, with eyes that have seen the seasons depart, and I find a map of a brand new kingdom tucked in the corner of your constant heart. There's a Bible in the drawer and a menu on the desk, but the only word I need is the sound of your breath. A radiator clanks like a ghost in my hallway, defeating the winter and the rumor of death. We'll leave the checkout time for the early risers and keep the do not disturb on the handle tight. There's a vintage wine chilling in the corner to celebrate the way we made it through the fight. The moon is a coin tossed into the river, a lucky penny for the years to come. The clock on the wall has stopped its ticking, but our pulse beats loud as a wooden drum. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lines on the hotel sheets. The city lights are thinking like a broken transmission, while the tide dries the sand from the empty streets. We built this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the biting breeze. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction, high above the rows of the cedar tree. But here we are at the 3-year marker, tracing silver lines on the hotel sheets. The city lights are blinking like a broken transmission, while the tide dries the sand from the empty streets. We built this house out of glances and patience, and guarded the flame from the biting breeze. Now the silence feels like a warm benediction, high above the rows of the cedar trees. The dust has settled on the heavy maps I drew. I burned the blueprints that I thought were true. stepping out beyond the garden gate to settle scores with my own restless fate. The road ahead is jagged like a broken glass, watching all the shadows of my former shadows pass. I saw a man who traded visions for a coin and felt the hollow ache where all the circles join. They told me history was written in the stone, but I will find a dialect that I can call my own. It is not about the kingdom or the golden key. It is about silence where I finally meet me. This is the pilgrimage across the inner wild, the reconciliation of the prophet and the child. No witness needed for the fire that I light. I am testifying to the depth of the night. Validation is a ghost that fades away when the spirit finds the courage just to stay. They will ask for credentials and a hollow name. They will try to wrap your hunger in a frame, but the pulse is stronger and the theory or the raw, moving through the wreckage with a sense of awe. Let the records burn and let the critics sleep. I have promises to my own soul to keep, so I leave the heavy trophies on a shelf. I am unlearning every version of myself. The wind is stripped of every borrowed melody as I walk into the stark reality. No more hiding in the crowd, or is the sky looking straight into the center of the eye? This is the pilgrimage across the inner wild, the reconciliation of the prophet and the child. No witness needed for the fire that I light. I am testifying to the depths of the night. Validation is a dose that fades away when the spirit finds the courage just to stay.
The floorboards creak beneath my heavy boots as gravity pulls at the tangled roots of a house that stands against the gray while the morning light is tucked away. I strike a match and watch the sulfur bloom to drive the shadows from this narrow room. The copper kettle hums a jagged tune underneath the pale and hollow moon. The windows rattle in their wooden frames as if the ghosts are calling out their names. But there is a fire burning deep and bright, a small defiance in the belly of the night. Oh, hear the gale come tearing down the pass to shatter peace against the looking glass. But in this steam and salt I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space. The flower dust settles on the counter edge like winter frost upon a lonely ledge. I meet the door with knuckles worn and thin, letting all the warmth and quiet in. Outside the trees have been like broken bows against a sky that only thunder knows. But hear the onion sizzle in the pan, the simple labor of a weary man. The windows rattle in their wooden frames as if the ghosts are calling out their names. But there is a fire burning deep and bright, a small defiance in the belly of the light. Oh, hear the gale come tearing down the pass to shatter the peace against the looking glass. But in their steam and salt I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space. Oh, hear the gale come tearing down the pass to shatter peace against the looking glass. But in this steam and salt I find my grace, a private joy within this crowded space.
The heavy dust upon your window pane hides a gold that lives beneath the rain. I see the spark you buried in the clay, waiting for a hand to clear the way. The road is long and worn by weary feet, but there is grace in every heart you meet. You think your voice is but a lonely sigh, a tiny bird against a changing sky. But when you speak, the mountains start to lean, to catch a glimpse of what your courage means. The frozen ground begins to feel the heat of someone moving on a steady beat. Oh, rise like a flame that knows no bound. Lift every brother from the heart and ground. Your words are anchors in a stormy tide. nowhere left for shadows to abide. Ignite the lamp inside a hollow chest and give the tired soul a place to rest. I watched the way you carried someone's load along the jagged edges of the road. No crown of silver shines as bright as this. The simple kindness of a human bliss. You plant a forest where the desert grew and find the strength to see the vision through. Rise like the flame that knows no bound. Lift every brother from the heart and ground. Your words are anchors in a stormy tide, with nowhere left for shadows to abide. Ignite the lamp inside a hollow chest and give the giant soul a place to rest. Silver dust descends upon the floor, across the boards where shadows used to sleep. I watch the heavy latch against the door, a promise that a lonely soul must keep. The quiet air is thick with frozen light. It carves a path through every hollow space. I find my courage in the dead of night, while gazing at this unfamiliar place. The candle flickers low inside the glass, a tiny flame that fights the rising cold. I watch the weary hours slowly pass. Within this frame the stories unfold. I feel the spirit climbing up the wall to meet the glow that filters through the pain. I stand upright and refuse to fall beneath the weight of every ancient stain. Rise like the tide against the silent shore. Find the spark within the darkest grain. Open up the lock and break the cord. Let the warmth wash out the winter rain. Carry on when all the lamps go dim. Build the fire out of the cedar wood. Fill the cup right to the very brim. Doing everything we said we would. Rise like a tide against the silent shore. Find the spark within the darkest grain. Open up the lock and break the cord. Let the warmth wash out the winter rain. Carry on when all the lamps go dim. Build the fire out of the cedar wood. Till the cup right to the very brim. Doing everything we said we would. Ceiling beams are etched with lines of age. They hold the ceiling steady overhead. I turn the leaf upon a brand new page and leave behind the words I should have said. The lunar beam is sharp enough to cut the tangled webs that hang around the sink. The heavy iron gates are finally shut. It gives a man a moment just to think. I put my hand against the cooling stone and feel the pulse of something hidden deep. I may be standing in this room alone, but there are harvest meals I'm meant to reap. The pale reflection settles in my pan, a mirror for the will that starts to wake. I do the very best a mortal can and mend the bonds I thought would surely break. Rise like the tide against the silent shore. Find a spark within the darkest grain. Open up the light. your screen. Open up the lock and break the core. Let the warmth wash out the winter rain. Carry on when all the lamps go dim. Build a fire out of the cedar wood. Fill a cup right to the very brim. Doing everything we said we were. Iron shadows stretch across the cracked pavement. Cold wires humming deep beneath the soles of worn boots. A vendor hawks synthetic fruit under a flickering sky, while the wind howls through the canyons of glass and chrome. Every eye is a lens recording the silence of the crowd, whose soul is trapped inside the machine tonight. The gale is pulling at the threads of our common skin. Tell me the price of a pulse in a digital vein, when the storm outside knows every secret we hide. God is a sequence lost in the gusts of the square. An old man stares at a screen that mirrors his ghost. Algorithms predict the way his heavy heart will break. Data points bleeding into the gutter with the rain. The gale doesn't care for the logic of the code. It just tears the flyers from the rusted metal gates. The air is thinning near the edge of the circuit board. Flesh and copper tangled in a desperate embrace. Listen to the roar of the atmosphere collapsing. Gravity is just a ghost in this high-speed race. Whose soul is trapped inside the machine tonight. The gale is pulling at the threads of our common skin. Tell me the price of the pulse in a digital vein, when the storm outside knows every secret we hide. God is a sequence lost in the gusts at the square. The tile is cracked beneath my worn out soles, where the city breathes through rusted iron holes. The fluorescent hum is a jagged kind of prayer, and I find my reflection in the static air. It is a crooked side, a jagged frame of bone, a map of every seed that I have never sown. But I will take the shape of the sun, even light, and wear the hollow day like a heavy coat of night. They preach a gospel of the polished and the clean, while living in a house made of plastic and screen. I see the tailor stitched a grin upon your face to mask the fact you are running in a circle race. How grand it looks to be so perfectly aligned, with a hollow chest and a strictly tethered mind. I would rather stay where the dampness licks the wall than stand atop a pedestal just waiting for the fall. This is the sanctuary of the discarded and the real. only truth is in the coldness that I feel below the pavement where the heavy engines roar. I am finding everything I was looking for. Not a crown of gold, but a crown of honest dust, trading in the silver for a coating of the rust. I am the master of the subterranean soar. I do not need the sunlight or your open door. The posters on the wall are peeling back like skin, exposing all the secrets that the world kept in. They sell you hunger and they call it a desire, while they warm their hands on a dying forest fire. The irony is thick as the fog upon a key. They are shackled to the thought that they are truly free. But I am digging deeper where the wires start to fray, finding my own version of the break of day. Go on and cast your stones from the towers made of glass, and watch the weary shadows as they slowly pass. You think the silence is a sign of my defeat, but it is the only melody that sounds complete. I have kissed the dirt and I have named it home underneath the feet of the crowds that aimless roam. There is a dignity in being left behind, leaving all the noise and the vanity behind. The stairs lead up to a theater of lies, but down here the vanity finally dies. The echo is a mirror that does not tell a lie, underneath the belly of the velvet sky. This is the sanctuary of the discarded and healed. The only truth is in the coldness that I feel below the pavement where the heavy engines roar. I am tiny, everything I was looking for. Not a crown of guilt, but a crown of honest dust, trading in the silver for a coating of my rust. I am a master of the subterranean floor. I do not need the sunlight or your open door. This is the sanctuary of the discarded and real. The only truth is in the coldness that I seal below the pavement where the heavy engines roar. I am finding everything I was looking for. Not a crown of gold, but a crown of honest dust, trading in the silver for a coating of the rust. Dust settles heavy on the broken glass. I watch the seasons and the shadows pass. The winter wind bites through a threadbare coat, and every hollow word stays in my throat. I left the gate unlatched and let you drift. Now I am calling through this jagged rift. The silence in the hall is far too loud. I am a ghost lost in a moving crowd. My hands are scarred from climbing out the deep. The promises I failed to ever keep are anchors dragging on the riverbed, while all your laughter echoes in my head. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard against a spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up tall above the wreckage and the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, fueling every soul in steady spark. God, I'm rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost is pulling hard against a spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a love to stand stand up tall above the wreckage and the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, fueling every slow and steady spark. I see your face in every stranger's eyes, beneath the vast and unforgiving skies. The guilt is like a stone inside my chest, a heavy bird that will not find its rest. I built this tower on a shaky ground and watched it tumble without making a sound. Now I am picking up the scattered stones to build a sanctuary for my bones. My hands are scarred from climbing out the deep. The promises I failed to ever keep are anchors dragging on the riverbed, while all your laughter echoes in my head. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The weight of what I lost there, pulling hard against the spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up tall above the wreckage and the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, fueling every slow and steady spark. I am rising from the ashes of my shame, learning how to breathe without your name. The way of what I lost is pulling hard against a spirit that is bruised and scarred. But I will find a way to stand up tall above the wreckage and the garden wall. I carry you like fire in the dark, fueling every slow and steady spark. The morning pavement bleeds a charcoal stain, a wave phantom lingers in the hollow light. I trace the map of every jagged vein left by the ghost who vanished in the night. The coffee's cold and bitter on my tongue, while the calendar just marks the empty wall. I'm clinging to the rungs where we once hung, waiting for the gravity to take the fall. Oh, the deluge comes to wash away the pride, but the fever for your shadow will not break. I am drowning in the current of the tide, paying for the promises I didn't make. Let the heavens open up and pour the gray across the ruins of a heart that went astray. I'm a captive to a memory in the flood, with the salt of your departure in my blood. Oh, the deluge comes to wash away the pride, but the fever for your shadow will not break. I am drowning in the burning of the tide, paying for the promises I didn't make. Let the heavens open up and pour the gray across the ruins of a heart that went astray. I'm a captive to a memory in the flood, with the salt of your departure in my blood. The street lamps flicker like a dying spark, searching for a face they'll never find again. I'm wandering the alleys of the dark, trying to distinguish mercy from the pain. Is it a blessing or a heavy iron chain to crave the very hand that pulled the pin? I'm dealing in the gutter of the rain, just to feel the place where your touch had been. The prophets on the corner preach of change. flame, just a long and weary road without a rest. Oh, the deluge comes to wash away the pride, but the fever for your shadow will not break. I am drowning in the current of the tide, paying for the promises I didn't make. Let the heavens open up and pour the gray across the ruins of a heart that went astray. I'm a captive to a memory in the fall, with the salt of your departure in my blood. Four corners of this chamber start to bleed into a meadow made of jagged glass. I lie among the velvet and the weed, watching the ancient constellations pass. My heavy limbs are sinking through the floor into a sea that tastes like bitter tea. I do not seek the handle of the door. The silence is the only company. Oh, the ceiling melts into a violet sky where every tear becomes a falling star. The ghost of us begins to multiply. I wonder where the shattered pieces are. The world is drifting further out of reach, while I am tethered to this hollow dream. No lessons left for misery to teach in this pale kingdom where nothing is as it seems. The clock can spin like dervishes in flight. The shadows dance a waltz across the wall. I swallow down the fragments of the night, waiting for the gravity to fall. My heart is just a stone inside a well, rippling through the fabric of the air. There is no heaven and where is no hell, just a vast numbness of this vacant lair. The sheets are waves of silver sand today, and dragons sleep beneath the unmade bed. I watch the heavy colors fade to gray inside the vaulted cathedrals of my head. There is a comfort in this slow decay, a mercy in the way the cesses fail. I let the phantom currents lead the way and set my tattered spirit out to sail. The walls are breathing soft and slow. The tide of grief begins to flow. The magic hide the crushing glow in the only place I know. Oh, where nothing is as it seems.
The wooden icons right beneath the sun. The cathedral spires look like broken teeth. I saw the preacher trading his cross for a gun, while the holy water turned black underneath. We built dark towers out of sand and pride, chasing shadows across a hollow plain. There is no corner where the frightened can hide from the cold logic of the falling rain. But the tide comes rolling in so wide, and the salt it bleeds into my chest. I am a speck of dust on a giant slide, finding my joy in a moment of rest. Let the old gods sleep in their stony beds. I am dancing where the blue waves crash, with nothing but a hat upon my head and a spirit rising from the ash. They say the stars are cold and far away, that we are nothing but a flicker in the dark. But I watch the dolphins in the silver spray, igniting the ocean with a sudden spark. The heavy books are gathering their mold. The logic of the world feels thin and frayed, but I found a story that was never told, in the golden warmth where the children play. For the tide comes rolling in so wide, and the salted breeze into my chest. I am a speck of dust on a giant slide, finding my joy in a moment of rest. Let the old gods sleep in their stony beds. I am dancing where the blue waves crash, with nothing but a hat upon my head and a spirit rising from the ash. Oh, the tide comes rolling in so wide, and the salt air breathes into my chest. I am a speck of dust on a giant slide, finding my joy at a moment of rest. Let the old gods sleep in their stony beds. I am dancing where the blue waves crash, with nothing but a hair on my head and a spirit rising from the ash.
The concrete canyons follow the sun, leaving me here with a race and run. This hollow geometry of four white walls, with the shadow of a doubt so loudly called. I will climb the ladder of the night until the darkness turns to blinding light. Looking through the glass at the surging tide of a million faces with nowhere to hide. They are moving like ghosts in a copper haze, lost in the blueprints of a frantic maze. I used to tremble when the floorboards sway. Now I am parsing the debts I have paid to the silence that sits in my favorite chair, asking me questions that lead to nowhere. The concrete canyon swallowed the sun, leaving me here with a race and run. This hollow geometry of four white walls, where the shadow of a doubt so loudly calls. But I will climb the ladder of the night until the darkness turns to blinding light. The calendar marks a forgotten name in a high-rise world that feels all the same. I am standing on the edge of a great mistake, waiting for the brittle glass I fear to break. The map is tattered and the compass is gone, but my boots are heavy as they carry me on. Past the heavy doors of the empty suites to the jagged truth of the granite streets. The concrete canyon swallow the sun, leaving me here with a race and run. This hollow geometry of four eyeballs, where the shadow of a doubt so loudly calls. But I will climb the ladder of the night until the darkness turns to blinding light. The concrete canyon swallowed the sun, leaving me here with a race and run. This hollow geometry of four white walls, where the shadow of a doubt so loudly calls. But I will climb the ladder of the night until the darkness turns to blind.